Greetings one and all. I thought I'd do a little video from the woods. So I was doing videos before about who we are and our egos, remembering ourselves. And that remembering ourselves can be quite difficult at times, because sometimes we're in the wrong eye to remember ourselves, or an eye that wants to take over, or a controlling eye that wants to remember ourselves and be perhaps a dominant eye can come through. And I was talking before about how different versions of myself in the past, obviously we've all made mistakes and made errors in judgment, or got ourselves caught up in situations we've not wanted to be in. Those are eyes that are not thinking properly or feeling properly or just being, which is what the Gurdjieff work's all about, is the being, the doing, and not falling into old patterns, as I was saying before. And I was sometimes, when I'm feeling that I'm not quite myself, maybe something's happened that's given me a little shock, or I'm feeling down, or I'm feeling angry about something, for me, going for a walk in the woods is always very helpful. Or going to a church and sitting in a church. Normally they're on old ley lines, or on old pagan sites, so they've got some kind of energy going through them that can help us to attune ourselves back, to steady ourselves. Oh, flying ants are coming this way. To steady ourselves, to put us back on track. But it's the shocks that knock us out. We think we're okay, we're going about our business, thinking we're doing the Gurdjieff work, and then something happens and we fall back into old routines and old patterns and old programming, and this is what we're trying to avoid doing. We have to be more considerate of who we are and what we are, where we are, what that situation is. And it can be quite weird at times, especially if you're involved in a situation with other people that don't do Gurdjieff work, because you stop yourself and you're taking a moment and trying to recollect what's going on, what's happening, why am I feeling this way or thinking this way, and they're not sure what you're doing. They can see you're taking a moment. Because I had this situation recently with someone, and it caught them out, and they went, "Are you counting to 10?" Which I know is something that many people do when they're caught up in a hectic situation. They have a breathe, and inside count to 10, take a deep breath, ready to kind of settle themselves and start from a better position, shall I say. But not everybody is aware of that when you do something like that. Many people are kind of like, what's going on? They're thinking that you're planning something, or, if they don't work that way, if they're just an attacker, which many people are in a situation, they only know how to attack, not to how to calm down and figure out what is this wrong in this situation? How can I rectify this situation? How can I make things better for the moment that's going on now? Because normally people are on the defensive in a turbulent situation. So it kind of knocks them off a bit when you suddenly stop and you're trying to consider what's going on and recollect yourself, or collect yourself, I should say. Because when you're recollecting yourself, you might be bringing in the wrong eye. But by collecting all your eyes together, hopefully a working eye will come through and, I was going to say, take control of the situation. I suppose it is taking control of the situation, of how you can deal with something that's going on in your life or in that moment in a more productive way. So I kind of went off track there, because I wanted to talk about, get out and go for a walk in the woods if you can, which I know some of you have come back to me and said, I don't live in the woods, I live in a city. Even a walk round a church graveyard is quite good, though some people find that a bit creepy. But remember, if the dead are there, they're not going to, and they come out as ghosts, they want to hang around in the graveyard. They probably want to go off somewhere and haunt somewhere else. Graveyards are normally quite safe places, especially since they're on consecrated land. or even just go and ponder somewhere, or if, you know, depending on what your religion is, go and find a temple or something. But obviously, if you're caught up in a situation, you can't just suddenly say, I just need to go for a walk in the woods to calm down. You need to deal with a hectic situation before you. You know, I know many people have turbulent home lives or turbulent situations at work. And the Gurdjieff work reminds us to, you know, obviously consider those other people, see where they're coming from and why a situation has got to how it is. Most of the time we are working with people that don't do any kind of spiritual work, and are materialistic, secular people just living their secular lives, who are probably quite used to still acting like children. I find many adults are still children. I've worked in, when I worked in the parks with children, it was quite sad to see how many adults were still children themselves. So them children are not being led or taught by adults. They're being taught by adults who have not grown up themselves. And I know that sounds quite judgmental, but I'm sure you've encountered people like that throughout your life. Whereas the Gurdjieff work helps us to grow up, become an adult, do the adulting properly, but at the same time to be aware of what's going on in one's life, what's going on in one's situation around themselves, and what's happening in the outer world towards you. You know, those outer manifestations coming from other people have quite an effect on us. I've talked before about making that golden egg around you, or perhaps a golden ball, protect your aura and your etheric body, because it's when you're verbally attacked by somebody, it's your etheric body that gets all those barbs. It's your etheric body that's being attacked, which is why I quite often say about going and just recuperating. Having a lovely walk in the woods helps recuperate the etheric body. Or even if you're at home, just sit down and take some time to do the exercises that Gurdjieff says, such as the I am, and feeling your body, feeling your arms, your legs, your torso, your head, yet at the same time also trying to think about the etheric body around yourself, your other bodies, and making sure they're repaired as well. Visualize repairing holes in your etheric, which sounds a bit of a crazy thing to do, but I'm sure many of you have looked at these ideas in all the different New Age books and such like, or have come across it in the Gurdjieff work, that we can visualize. This is creative imagination that Gurdjieff is talking about, using your imagination in a way that helps you, you know, compared to, you know, daydreaming, being covered in flying ants, just blow them away. You know, these ruptures that happen to us inside our other bodies then have effect on our physical bodies. So it's not just our physical bodies we want to repair, it's also our other bodies that we're trying to do. You know, Gurdjieff talks about the Keshjan body, which is the soul vessel. He talks about how Keshjan is the body that we develop, and we can develop it in this life, not just for after we've died, but to use in this life and to keep our soul safe and protected. And by doing the Gurdjieff exercises, we help develop those bodies. But I do find that going out into the woods for myself, nature has an effect upon me. And the colour green has a definite effect on you, on one. The green's a healing colour, and nature is a healing vibration going through it. You know, it's a living vibration. The woods are alive. The park that you might walk through is alive with nature, and you can feel them vibrations through you. You know, it's lovely to walk across the sandy beach or across the grass, though everything's being concreted these days, which I'm pretty sure Mother Earth does not like. It's like she's being suffocated, isn't it? She's being plastered over with all this concrete and tarmac. So I wanted to do this as kind of a continuation of the last video I'd done, to try and encourage people that we can repair ourselves, we can repair our hearts. That's another exercise I've been working on quite a bit lately, of visualizing my heart and repairing my heart in places that it's been damaged for, the life situations or such like, and also my spiritual heart, my soul heart. And we can visualize that kind of, we can heal ourselves, is what I'm saying, through concentration and taking a moment to be with oneself. There was a time when I used to meditate and I used to fall asleep. But I've been told since that, I'm probably healing myself whilst I'm asleep. Where now I try to do visualized meditations or awake meditations to keep my eyes open these days. Though some people like to have their eyes shut. And recently I have been starting to do exercises where I do shut my eyes. I actually cover them up. So they're still open, but I've got them covered. So that I can then concentrate on what I'm either thinking or saying, whether it's like some kind of mantra or Gurdjieff's words. I repeat some of them sometimes that are very positive and uplifting, or even Steiner's words, such as the one I'm doing quite a lot recently with Rudolf Steiner's words is, I let faith germinate within me, I let love germinate within me. And I've actually got the full one of those in one of my shorts, the full quote that he says for that, because it helps. It's like a quest and a request out to oneself and to the divine hierarchy to help us, well, germinate love and faith. Sometimes our faith is rocked, sometimes our love is tested. But of course I'm talking about unconditional love here, compassionate love, which is what we should be developing. For those that follow the Christ path, I highly recommend the meditating on the pictures or statues, which you can get many of these pictures at various churches these days for free, or leave a little donation of Christ with the heart coming out, the sun heart, and meditating on that. Because that was Christ's message, was love. So this was just a little video to hopefully encourage people to work upon their hearts, their souls, and their other bodies. And, go for a lovely walk in the woods if you can, or up a mountain, or, across the fields. But love and peace to you all. Until next time.